So like, according to Wikimedia statistics, Nigeria really very low, Kenya very low, Sudan pretty low, also Tanzania here, and then going further down. Okay, that's one of the settings for Wikipedia work in Africa. Then there's another thing on these rankings, that's the question of bot-created articles. You know that bots are programs, basically you can give them a spreadsheet and they do lots of articles. So if you look at it worldwide on all Wikipedias, the share of bot-created articles is around here, nearly a quarter. If you look, for example, at the English Wikipedia, it's 3% only, Dutch is 59%, German is 0, nearly 0, they have 700 articles only. And I looked into interesting language, Warai from Indonesia, they're also 88%, but they combine it with a fantastic number of page views. I'm going to try to see what kind of bots they use, because obviously you can have very different articles made from bots with very different quality. Okay, in Wikipedia we have 287 language Wikipedias and about 40 African. I say about 40 because Wikipedia statistics get a bit unsharp at the lower end. And look at Wikipedias by size. We had 9. I think by now Warai is over 1 million. It would be 10, but 9 huge Wikipedias. I call it more than 1 million articles. I would say 43 large Wikipedias between 100,000 and 1 million articles. Medium-sized Wikipedias, so 10,000 to less than 100,000, 74. The small Wikipedias, 1,000 to 10,000, 101. Tiny Wikipedias, I call them, are 50, between 100 and 1,000 articles. And what I would call micropedias, less than 100 articles, there are 10. Okay, how does it look in Africa? African languages. Now, I define it for my purpose as languages native to Africa. We can discuss it, you can define it differently, but I've defined it this way, so I included Afrikaans and Masri, which is Egyptian Arabic, and I excluded English, French, Arabic. All right. Now, what's this? This should not be. No idea. Okay. Basically, it says above there are no huge and large Wikipedias in African languages, but we have 6 medium-sized, so more than 10,000 articles. We have 7 small ones, 1,000 to 10,000, 23 tiny, and 4 micropedias. Alright, now these medium-sized African language Wikipedias are Malagasy, which is on this ranking the largest, 47,000 articles, Afrikaans with 31, about same size Yoruba with 30, Swahili 26,300, Amharic nearly 16,000, and Masri with 12,000 and a few. Then we have the small size language Wikipedias, which are Somali, Shona, Lingala, Kinyarwanda, Wolof, and Kabyle. And Igbo, they just reached 1,000, all right, in Nigeria. And then we have the tiny ones from Congo down to Oromo, and Ewe down to Chichewa, and then these micro ones. Okay, this thing is getting off, all right. Now, what's in Wikipedias in African languages? So you have the official article counts, 47,000 down to 12,000 in Masri, and these counts, I just do it here on these medium-sized Wikipedias. Somali, I added down here in the next category, and these come with databases. Oh, all right, you can go with the colors. Afrikaans is the largest database. You see Malagasy has more articles, but smaller database, and so it goes down. And there is an alternative count, which is quite interesting. It includes everything with less than 200 signs, less than 200 characters, which means that very short articles are not counted in this ranking, this alternative ranking. And there you see Malagasy has 44,000 still, Afrikaans, but then Yoruba and Amharic stick out because they suddenly have much less. Yoruba doesn't have 31,000 articles anymore, but if you leave out these very small ones, it's only 5,400. And similar for Amharic, it's only left with 4,400 articles, which just means that obviously they have a number of very short articles. All right. And there's another thing in Malagasy. If you look at the database of 88 megabytes, that's the white in the middle, 37 megabytes of these, nearly half, are only lists. This, for example, this is from Malagasy Wikipedia. It's a list of comet numbers. It's a list of comet numbers. I mean, there's a lot of stars out there, and it's a sure way to expand statistical content very fast. You just feed the spreadsheet into the program, who spews it out, and already you have lots and lots of megabytes in your database, and thousands and thousands and thousands and 10,000s of articles. All right. Now, even very short articles, there's a difference. For example, I took here something from Simple. Blitzkrieg Bop is a song by punk rock band the Ramones. So this is just 130 bytes, very short article, but it has basic information. It has 2 links. You get a link to what a punk rock band is, and you get a link of who the Ramones are. And of course, there's always the hope with these articles that somebody adds some content. Now, this is something from Yoruba Wikipedia, 101 bytes, but it has no information. It's just a repeat of the title. The article about Peter Kropotkin just consists of the name Peter Kropotkin. All right, which is okay. It's consistent, but no information virtually. All right, what's in it? Of course, many people who start Wikipedia, and I was in the starting phase of Swahili. Of course, you have to go with some ideals about educational value and things like this. All right, so there is. You could try to compare to the list of most important articles. There is a list of 1,000 articles every Wikipedia should have as a sample. And in the center column, you see the red figures. Obviously, as comparison English, of course, has thousands of these most important articles. It's not so easy to keep that, because the community working with it, they're changing their mind every few months. What is most important? And suddenly it's changing, and then you have to work again. But English can keep up. Afrikaans, Swahili, as you see, we are at a bit over 80%. Obviously, because in both Wikipedias there must be editors, I don't know anybody from Afrikaans, who are focusing on that and say, okay, we should try to keep up with these articles, strategic articles, whereas down in Masri, Yoruba, and so on, it's obviously has been not so important. There's another list, the expanded sample, the 10,000 article list, which of course for Wikipedias of this size is really a challenge. And here you see English again with the red figures in the center. They are close to the 10,000. Not quite there. I guess it has to do with the changes. What is the 10,000? So that again you see who's that guy, we don't have him yet. And with Afrikaans and Swahili we still have quite a bit to go still, and the others are still farther off from that. Alright. So by encyclopedial contact, but then who's doing it? Editors. Well, we're editors, okay. I bring you this thing, it shows active editors on each Wikipedia, which I show you, from the beginning till now. It's not the presently active ones necessarily, but since the project started, how many people have been active there, how many edits have they done, and how many editors have done how many edits. That's these percent things in the center. Okay, so Afrikaans, you see, they had 359,000 edits, and half of these edits were done by 11 people. Half of the edits, but the 90% were done by about 60 people. So you could say, okay, essentially this Wikipedia has been built by about 60 people over the years as they are, and on the right you see how many there were who did more than 10,000, 1,000 or 100 articles. I mean, or you could say it's 155 who did more than 100 edits. Okay. Swahili and Masri are similar. It's by chance. The number of edits is similar. The distribution of editors is similar. So here you see it's already down 50% of the whole work to only 4 people who've done it over the years. When we go further down, Yoruba, for example, which is And the number of articles, same level like Afrikaans, with about 31,000. You see 50% and even 75% just by, somewhere I have to press here, just by one person. 75%, that's in Yoruba only by one person. For the 90%, the second one comes in. So Yoruba largely has been a one-man show. And Malagasy, as you see down here, is a bit wider than Yoruba, but that was bought in. And so Yoruba was a one-man show that was editor Demi. And I found somewhere that Timmy Wells nominated him to be editor of the Wikipedia of the year 2012. All right. Now, who's doing it? Editors, human or bot? On the African, we looked before worldwide for the comparison. Now you can see here, Malagasy, Yoruba, Afrikaans. I put out the six larger one, African languages. Malagasy is a bot creation. Very, very few human input. Yoruba and the others have had very little. For example, I know in Swahili we once had somebody who did not speak Swahili, and he did a list, probably it must be these 96 on what know I, places somewhere in Massachusetts or so. So he built a program for that matter, but we don't have more of this. So, and Amharic again has 15% moderate share. All right. What does it say about quality? Well, it depends. Because first of all, it's not necessarily so that bot articles are bad and unnecessary. Spam, not necessarily. You can build relatively good ones. I'm going to observe Warai, who also have 88% bot creation, but astonishingly high number of views. So somebody's reading that stuff. Let's see if they still do it in half a year. I'll try to contact the editor there. And of course we have manual entries, like the Peter Kropotkin, which we look at Yoruba, which have no value at all. All right. Sex and drugs and rock and roll was a very popular motto when I was at school. Now, users love these topics. I've read some studies that on English Wikipedia, about 40 to 50% of the hits, of the views, they go to pages related to entertainment and sexuality. In case of Swahili, I tell you tomorrow, there is a certain competition between penis and vagina. On the hit list, but I tell that tomorrow. Not now, no, I leave the best for tomorrow. Okay, but what about editors? Well, for editors, obviously, they have no time for it when they want to bring their Wikipedia forward. All right? Well, who does the job? A bit about editor activity. So, for example, here you see how such edits can go on Malagasy Wikipedia, which has been quiet this year. You can see how it goes on the English Wikipedia for comparison. They had a period with bots, but for the rest, the green line are just registered normal editors, non-bots. I have it here for the Afrikaans Wikipedia, which to me looks, that's why I say in the end that probably Afrikaans Wikipedia is the most solid of the African language Wikipedias, because you see they have a steady level of 10 to 20 people who do more than 25 edits per month. And that is, for a small Wikipedia, at least fairly healthy level. On Swahili Wikipedia, we are not so stable, because the 100+ edits we do not reach every month. So that's 1 or 2 people who do this sometimes. The 25 edits are something between below 10. And so we keep on going slowly. About the big zig here at 2010, I can tell tomorrow about that secret. That was the Google invasion with devastating results. Okay. Who does the job? Where are the editors? And that's interesting. I didn't expect it before. Okay, look at Afrikaans. 73%, about 3/4 of the edits for Afrikaans come from South Africa. Then there's a bit other places, Netherlands, I'm not surprised, and the other places are not. Okay, looks quite solid. Now look, Amharic. Obviously, it's a language in the United States of America, and some speakers also even live in Ethiopia. I found it funny when here in the invitation papers of the program, there was always speaking about Wikipedia, and local languages. Well, what are the local languages? Afrikaans, okay, looks local. Amharic, well, less local. Let's see Swahili. 30% edits from Tanzania, 24 in Europe, Iran, I wonder who that is, Canada and so on, and others 13. I have to write Eric about this because that's obviously a hitch, because two of our most active editors sit in Kenya, and Kenya doesn't show. And it should be more than 13%, because Oliver is doing at least as much as I, or a bit more. He's mostly editing from Kenya, and our biology guy also often from Kenya, so that's it. Anyway, but I just put out some smaller ones just to show this strange setup. Where are the editors? So Shona, a Canadian language, very clear. Very clear. But there are more Shona speakers. There are more Shona speakers in Zimbabwe than the Czech Republic.
Is it only anonymous IP, or is it also known users?
As I have to look at, well, it's editors, edits from countries. I have to look in the footnotes. It goes. I think they go by. For this, I think they will go by IPs. Which obviously you will tell me later what tricks you see how to sneak in so many checks into Shona. And so who's doing it? Is it homesick Africans abroad writing in home language? Is it just globalization? Or is it maybe a sharper look from the outside and chances of language development? I mean, Gandhi got his great ideas about India when he was here, when he was in Britain and in South Africa. Let's see. Okay, up to you. Now, who's reading that? We go to page views, the gold of the internet, because that's what Google makes the billions with. And I found out one should be careful when reading such figures, because 1 million views is not 1 million viewers. I learned from Eric that at least 15-20% are crawler traffic. Crawlers are programs that go from programs like Google, Yahoo, and so on, and they crawl through the internet and collect addresses of entries so that they put them into their search machines. And so, of course, they always blow up any statistics. And, of course, they help Wikipedia, because I learned that about a third of all external lookups, for example, to Wikipedia, come through Google. And so the Google crawler alone is creating 3 or 4% of the main Google crawler, of all the Wikipedia view traffic. And if they would not crawl, they would not refer to us. So let them crawl. Okay, page views for African language Wikipedias. Well, you see again the list, Afrikaans and going down. If you look just to the right side, views per month. So I put in bright yellow the 3 Wikipedias which get more than 1 million page views per month. I find remarkable how much it is from Masri, but I think that comes by comparison, because if we remember, Egypt is a country with a pretty high internet penetration, at least according to my statistics, higher than the average in Africa, and it is a very big population. Would you have 80 million or so? Yeah, okay, so it's a bit in perspective maybe to be put. Amharic, Malagasy further down, and then the interesting thing is that Yoruba is very far down, although they really put in so many articles. And if you look in former years, if you have older statistics, you see Yoruba further up, and my personal take is it may have to do with the quality of their articles. I mean, they put a lot on just on quantity, and then they have a lot of articles, like you have a lot of country articles which just consist of half a sentence and then just this English information box. Just this English information box copied 1-to-1, and that's obviously not so attractive to keep on looking. All right? Well, who's reading it? Now I have page views from countries. So Afrikaans is read about 2/3 by people from South Africa. Swahili is read 37% by people from Tanzania. 5% of the Swahili call-ups are from Kenya. And it would be interesting to know what are the others, because that's quite a lot, but statistics doesn't give it. Amharic is read about, nearly a quarter from Ethiopia, nearly the same number from the United States. So it's very obvious that in these smaller African language Wikipedias, what we call the diaspora, so the community of speakers who are outside the country play an important role. Probably there are not so many, but they have very easy access to internet. Yeah, I mean, a student, an Ethiopian or a Tanzanian student sitting somewhere in the States has it so easy to get into internet anytime, even on his mobile phone. I mean, we have. I don't want to take any clues from this because of this distribution. Like on Swahili, we have nearly a quarter mobile views through mobile devices. Nearly a quarter, 23 and something percent. But I do not want to take any clue from these data because maybe it's more the Kenyans or Tanzanians in the States who use that. So I won't take much. Okay, just for comparison, Oromo, even more, much more from the States than from Ethiopia. Oromo is an Ethiopian language. And Somali, well, it's not much of a wonder that Somali itself doesn't show so much in the statistics. Also, mostly states. Djibouti is notable. And just Bambara, also obviously United States language as far as you look at the views. All right. Who's reading it? It's a bit about market shares. We've seen absolute figures, and I say personally, with the number of views I see on Swahili Wikipedia for things I write there, well, it could be more, but if I write something on the periodic table of elements, maybe you remember chemistry or so, okay? From the periodic table of elements, and I have 1 to 2 views per day on this, it's the only place probably where you can read it. I'm not sure if I don't think that the primary school books have it in Tanzania. Periodic, do they have it? I don't think so. Okay, so I think it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, it's not the thousands of millions. Okay. Anyway, generally, most of the African language Wikipedias have in their country where most of their speakers live something low shares. So Afrikaans around 2%, Namibia the same, 1.8-2%. Tanzania, Swahili around, well, it's a bit higher. We have been going 4 to 5, now we're down, last quarter, last 3 months we were down to 3. That's a slight notch higher, but also in the one-digit percentage. Ethiopia the same, about 2%. Somalia is very much oscillating, but probably because it's so few data there. And the same, by the way, for Australia, also around 2%. So, how much time do you have left? Okay, let's see. What I see in perspectives, I see for African language Wikipedia as a potential ahead because we heard it, internet access will grow. And I see important the education policy, language policy in education. There's a number of countries from where we hear that they will enhance the use of African languages in primary education so far. And so I think slowly more interest for African language content is foreseeable. The question is, can this potential be realized? Come on. The near monopoly of European languages as medium of higher education in Africa, I see as the main challenge for the African language Wikipedias, which results, that's my impression from East Africa, from Tanzania and Kenya, and the inability of most educated Africans to discuss scientific topics or economics topics on certain levels in mother tongue and the so-called national languages, because you read about it, learn about it only in English, French, or whatsoever, Portuguese in secondary school, and this comes together with little faith in the ability of African languages to express complex issues. So that's a set of the mind. Of course, it's not fact. You can talk about everything in Swahili and probably also in Setswana and whatsoever. But this, of course, results in a reduced ability to read content. They have to take time. They have to take time, and they have to read slow. Okay, closing remark. I see today Afrikaans as the African language Wikipedia with a healthy structure, because it's the only African language which is medium in higher education, up to university. I see that several African language Wikipedias have large potential if they can offer quality. It goes with quality. And I think it's worthwhile trying to build African language Wikipedias and languages used in education system and make them useful as reference. Whoever likes to discuss this tomorrow on the presentation on problems and successes in building African language Wikipedia, on the example of an African language Wikipedia, and the example of Swahili. All right. Wikipedias in African languages. So IST of page views on Wikipedia, Wikimedia pages. And as you see here, on the average, the global internet user looks 5 times per month into Wikimedia page. All right?